Hi, my name is Holly Hancock, and I'm a clinical mental health counselor in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'd like to spend a few minutes talking today about the Netflix series, Season 2 of 13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons Why Season 2 airs this Friday in its entirety. You'll be able to see all episodes starting on Friday. As many of you know, this series caught a lot of attention, got a lot of flack and backlash after Season 1 aired last year. It is for good reason that it got some backlash. 13 Reasons Why talks about, among other things, suicide, depression, bullying, gun violence, sexual assault, rape, and teen substance use. There are probably a few other major things that I'm missing, but those highlight at least the main topics that are covered in 13 Reasons Why. I'd like to talk about this to the parents specifically because I think it's parents who need to pay more attention to this than maybe the youth. I think the youth are drawn to this series like moth to flame because it is a fictional portrayal of their everyday life at school. For those of you that think your child may not be experiencing some of these things, that's probably true. It may not happening, these issues of suicide, depression, bullying, rape, these things may not be happening to your child, but I'm here to tell you without hesitation, they are happening around your child, and it's happening every day. For the parents who say, I don't want my child to get any ideas, I get it. You don't want to fill their heads with things that you don't want them to know about. But this mature subject matter does not mean that it should be ignored subject matter. This is the time that we need to open the discussion. This is the time that we need to provide the spaces where our children feel safe coming and talking about these hard issues that they face for the majority of their days while they're in school. I believe that the creators, writers, and those who produced this series have done their due diligence given the backlash and some of the things that they received in terms of feedback or criticism from last season. I'll speak to the one that I was most concerned about, and that was, here is the series that is a fictional representation of the real lives of students in the United States, but no mention of resources as to where to get help if they're feeling and or experiencing some of the themes, messages, or ideas presented in the series. This season, they have, at least I've seen it floating around the internet for the last week at least, a public service announcement that is narrated and acted, actually probably portrayed and just spoken from the main characters of the series about the damage and about the horror that they experience or that students may experience. And not only that, but where to get help. I hope that this PSA that they've created that's been out there in Cyberland will accompany each episode this season so that that information is at the forefront of the message that is sent to children, youth, teens who may be struggling with some of the things that are portrayed in the series. Second, I think that the producers of this series also took to heart the severity and the gravity of the subject matter, in that they've employed an attorney who specializes in sexual assault and rape as it relates to teens and how this affects them in their lives, how it plays out in the court system, and what an awful process this can be to even speak up what someone may face if they should name their perpetrator. The other thing that I think that they've done right this season is that they have employed a child psychologist and a child psychiatrist who I would argue have probably spent hours face-to-face in their clinics and in their sessions with teens who also struggle with these problems. And I'm hoping are consulting in good ways with these producers and with this production company to portray the experiences of these characters in such a way that is meaningful and also educational. I'm going to put a challenge out there to you parents. If you don't want your children to see this series, I get it. Here's the challenge. Watch it. Then, if you feel comfortable, watch it with your children. Start the discussion. Educate yourself. Ask the tough questions of the kids in your house, of the teens in your house. Ask their friends. Ask them if they ever feel depressed. Ask them if they ever feel anxious. Ask them if they've ever been bullied. Ask them if they've ever been assaulted or beat up. Ask them if they've ever been suicidal or had suicidal thoughts. I know this language is harsh because it's language we don't like to hear. It's language that we don't want to hear. And we certainly don't want to hear this language as it relates to our children. But we have to use the mature words that is meant for mature audiences because this is the world we live in. This is the reality of the children that we're raising. This is the reality in the classrooms and the halls of high schools across the state of Utah and across the country. Suicide is the number one cause of death for young people in Utah. That's tragic. And that statistic needs to decrease dramatically. Parents, students, open the dialogue with each other. Make these conversations happen. Make people aware that this is happening and that you know about it. Again, this may not be happening to your child, but it is absolutely happening around them. I hope that if I'm successful in editing this little few-minute discussion, that I will have some suicide hotline numbers and other resource numbers on this somewhere, if not just right across the bottom the whole time. I don't know what's going to happen, but may the video gods with the tech not savvy therapist be ever in my favor to get that information posted. Again, please, before you criticize, spend a few minutes educating yourself, spend a few minutes watching 13 Reasons Why, read about it, watch it, and have the discussion. The discussion or the questions you may ask today might save the life of your child or another child. Teens, reach out. If you're feeling hurt, lost, depressed, if you're being bullied, if you're being abused, if you're being assaulted, if you've been raped, if you have thoughts of suicide, reach out. Now's the time to talk about it. And we need to talk about it.